Hey everybody, this is Mr. Beckstrom, and today I want to take a look at section 2A in the book. This is Understand, Solve, and Explain, and really it gives us a good introduction into what's called unit analysis. And that's the process of working with units to help solve problems. And I copied a definition and a summary here, so make sure you pause the video and take a look at this. They give keywords to tell you what the operation is. For example, if you say I'm going 100 miles per hour, the per tells you to divide. So that could be written as 100 miles divided by 1 hour. Um, and we also use unit fractions in order to um, move from one unit to another, or to convert from one unit to another unit. And that's what I really want to go over today. I want to take a look at some examples, and I also want to give you some exercises to work on to see how well you understand. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first problem here. Okay, so this first one here, it just says convert 100 miles per hour to feet per second. So what I'm basically asking is, let's say we're driving down the interstate and our speedometer says 100 miles per hour, and we want to know, well, how many feet are we going each second? And we can use this unit analysis, including these unit fractions, in order to convert from miles per hour to feet per second. And we're going to use I think I just said this, but the unit fractions in order to do that. And a unit fraction is a fraction where the top and the bottom quantities are the same. They just may be using different units. For example, 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. So I could do a unit fraction as I can either write that as 60 seconds over 1 minute, or I could write that as 1 minute over 60 seconds. And this is an example of a unit fraction because the top and the bottom quantities are the same, but they just have different units. So let's see how we would use this idea in order to solve this problem. So whenever I'm given either a word or a number problem and I want to convert units from one to another, I always start with the known quantity. The known quantity. So 100 miles per hour, that can be written as 100 miles. And remember the per from up above says we divide, so that's going to be divided by 1 hour. So here is my original quantity, and I'm going to basically multiply by unit fractions until I get the units that I want. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on getting miles converted down to feet because I want feet. So this next one is going to be something where I convert miles to feet. So so I know that there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So I can do a unit fraction as 5,280 feet over 1 mile, or I can do 1 mile over 5,280 feet. 5,280 feet. And the first thing I need to do is choose which one of these is going to get me to the answer that I need. Well, since I want to get rid of miles, I want the unit on top with a unit on the bottom so they cancel out. So I'm going to use the one that has miles on the bottom, which is the first of these. So I'm going to do 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. And that's my first unit fraction. Now, this unit will cancel out with this unit. So if you have one on the top and one on the bottom, they cancel out. And now my distance is in feet, which is what I want. So now I just have to convert the hours to seconds. Now, if you know how many seconds are in an hour, you can do a conversion right from there, but I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to do multiple conversions to get there. So remember, I know that there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, and I want to work my way down to seconds, so minutes would be the right direction. Now remember, I want to cancel this hour on the bottom, so I need the hour up here. So I know 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. And I also know that's my next unit fraction. So that hour here is going to cancel out with that hour there. But I'm in minutes and I need to get to seconds. So I know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Now this minute will cancel out with this minute. That's why I put the minute on top. Now the only unit left on top is the feet, which is what I want, and the only unit left on the bottom is the seconds, which is what I want. So now I'm just going to multiply the fractions together. Let me pull up my calculator here. So remember, when I multiply fractions together, I'll multiply all the tops together, and that'll become my new top. So 100 times 5,280 times 1 times 1. So I can do 100 times 5,280 times 1 times 1. That's going to give me 528,000. So that's going to be on the top. So this is going to be 528,000. And this is going to be feet per. And on the bottom, it's just going to be 1 times 1 times 60 times 60, which is 3,600 seconds. But I want to find out per second. So in order to do that, I can just take the top and divide it by the bottom. So I take that 5,280 divided by 3,600, and that's going to give me around 146.7. So this is approximately 146.7 feet, and that's per 1 second. And that's it. That's it for that one. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and give you one, and I want you, after you get it, I want you to pause the video, give it a try, and we'll see how we're doing. Okay, so I want you to convert 25 kilometers per minute to meters per second. And I will give you one hint to start off, and that is that there are 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. And you can make that as a unit fraction by putting either one of those quantities on top and the other one on the bottom. All right, so go ahead and pause, see how far you can get, and then we'll go over it. Okay, so like we said before, we want to start with our known quantity, which is the 25 kilometers per 1 minute. So it's going to look like this here, 25 kilometers per 1 minute. And now we can either get or convert the kilometers to meters, or I can convert the minutes to seconds. So you can do either one. This time I'm going to do the minutes to seconds. So since I have a minute on the bottom here, I'll want the minute on the top. So I know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, right? And therefore, since I have one on the top, one on the bottom, I can cancel those out. Now I have seconds, which is what I wanted here, so we're good. Now I want to convert this kilometers to meters, and I know that there's 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So when we multiply here, we want the kilometers on the bottom, so it cancels out with this kilometers on top. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. And that's it. Now this kilometer cancels out with this kilometer, and I'm just left with the meters on the top, which is what I want, and the seconds on the bottom, which is what I want. So multiplying that across, 25 times 1,000 is going to be 25,000 meters per 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Now remember, again, I want to find the number of kilometers per 1 second, so I can divide the 25,000 by 60. So if I do 25,000 divided by 60, I'm going to get, wow, did we just get the same exact answer that we got before? Oh, no, we didn't. That was 146. This is 416. Same numbers, just different order. So 416.7, so that's approximately 416, oops, 416.7, and that's going to be meters per second. And you can write that as meters per second. There's lots of different ways to write that. All right, let me just double check. 416.7. All right, very good. Okay, let's take a look at another example, and then I'll have you do another problem. Okay, so for this next one, it says how many cubic feet are in 1 cubic mile? So remember, cubic means three-dimensional. So think of like a Rubik's Cube or, just a box or something. But we're going to see. And if you're thinking there's going to be a whole lot, you are correct. We should be getting an astronomically large number here because a cubic mile means a mile on the width, a mile on the length, and a mile on the height. So in order to get my unit fraction of the two equal quantities, let's first just kind of take a look at this and see if we can kind of figure that out. So if I do a horrible, oops, that's not good. Let's try to do it this way. We'll start with a square. All right, trying to make a cube here. Okay, let's say I start with a cube, and I'm going to make this cube a cubic mile. That means it's 1 mile here, 1 mile there, and 1 mile height, right? So just 1 mile by 1 mile by 1 mile. In order to get the volume of a cube, we just do length times width times height. So in this case, that would just be 1 cubic mile, right? Because 1 times 1 times 1. Now, let's convert that to feet. In order to do that, we know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And this here would also be equal to 5,280 feet. And this height right here would also be equal to 5,280 feet. So to find out how many cubic feet this is, I would just have to multiply the length times the width times the height, right? So now we're going to do it in terms of feet. So it's going to be 5,280 times, oops, not divide, times 5,280 times 5,280. And we get this e to the 11th here. This means that we have to multiply that out or move the decimal place 11 places to the right, or I can write that in scientific notation. But let's go ahead and write it out right now. So we know that 1 cubic mile is equal to, and let me bring the calculator on the other screen so I can see it while I'm writing, and this is 147,197,952. And let me see how many places that is. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to have 3 zeros, 9, 10, 11. So moving the decimal place 11 spaces to the right, we'll put it right here, put my commas there, and wow, that is a big number. That looks like 147 billion, 197 million, 952,000 cubic feet. So that's cubic feet. And that's in 1 cubic mile. All right, well, that's really the answer right there, right? Because if we start with the known quantity here, 1 cubic mile, and I'm going to put this over 1, just makes it a little bit easier when I do multiplication. And remember, our unit fraction, we want the cubic mile on the bottom, so 1 cubic mile over, and on the top we're going to have that really long number, 147 billion, 197 million, 952,000, and cubic feet. And I'll go ahead and write the cubic feet like this. You can also put the unit with a little 3 on the top. And then when you multiply across, we're basically just going to get this number right here. So that is it. All right, I'm going to give you one and go ahead and let you work that out, and then we'll do it together. Okay, this one says, how many cubic yards are in 9,000 cubic feet? So first, draw yourself a cube and see if you can find a unit fraction to convert cubic yards and cubic feet, and then go ahead and try to do this. All right, so pause it now, give it a try, and then when you come back, we'll go over the solution. Okay, so once again, you can either look it up. If you go to Google, it'll tell you right away how many cubic feet are in a cubic yard. But let's figure this out geometrically first. So if this is 1 cubic yard, so a yard here, a yard here, and a yard here, a yard is equal to 3 feet. So that's the same as 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. Right? This is a cubic yard in terms of feet. So let's go ahead and multiply the length times the width times the height. So 1 cubic yard is equal to 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 cubic feet. So there is our unit fraction in order to do this conversion. So now when we do the conversion, let's start with 9,000 cubic feet. And if there's nothing on the bottom, I'll go ahead and put that over 1. And now, remember, we're trying to get rid of cubic feet and into cubic yards. So I'm going to put the 27 cubic feet on the bottom, 27 cubic feet down here, and the 1 cubic yard over there, cubic yard up here. And then when we multiply, well, first of all, those are going to cancel, just leaving us the cubic yards, which is what we want. And then we're going to have 9,000 over 27. And let's put that into our calculator here. 9,000 divided by 27 comes out to about 333.3. So this is approximately 333.3 cubic yards. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Please make sure you read the entire section of 2A. Try some of these problems and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks and have a great day.